major happen, don't take it. Don't take it. Then and welcome back to The Angry Teacher. I'm Richard Williams, The Angry Teacher, and today I'm going to be giving you 7 soft skills to teach your students. All right? Hang around. What are you going to learn today? Soft skills. Now, this is something that's not necessarily obviously soft, so meaning it's not an elaborate in-your-face kind of training, but it's something that employers and schools and humanity requires in some in most aspects at some level. You need to have these skills to function as a citizen of our world. And so there's 7 tips I'm going to give you on how to teach this without being a part of your lesson plan, if you will. Kind of infuse it in your lessons, and so you know that you're covering it, so when your child leaves you, your student leaves you, they'll be able to survive in the real world because you've covered these soft skills. All right, let's get into it. Number 1, the obvious one, communication skills. This is an important skill set that kids need, and a lot of them don't have. As there's some kids that they've passed through the system, they're great kids because they're quiet and they get their work done all the time, but they need to be able to communicate that work at some point. So and not just written skills, because usually most of the quiet ones are the good writers, but they need to speak up as well, as much as they can, right? So you have presentations, oral presentations that you can have. Even if they're working in a group or by themselves, they still get to present. They need to share out what they've done, because it could be the greatest thing ever, but if somebody can't hear you speak or defend what you've done or elaborate on what you've said on paper, then it might not even be worth anything. So we have to teach those skills. Oral assignments, have them, instead of writing it down, you're gonna have to share out. You're gonna have to talk to me. And just another quick thing that I do all the time, talk to the kids. How you doing this morning? Have a conversation and ask them and hear their pronunciation of words. Hear how they respond. Are they always looking down? These are things you pay attention to while you're evaluating them, while you're talking to them. And the more you keep doing, the more they're going to start looking up. The more their responses are going to come faster. The more that you're going to hear, okay, wait a minute, fix that word. That word doesn't sound right. Change that word. All right, and they start doing it. So communication skills. That's how those 3 things you can kind of use to kind of teach them how to better that soft skill. By all means, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for the next dope Angry Teacher video, man. Come on. Number 2, people skills. Give them group activities. They're going to need this skill to interact with people. Once again, there's some quiet kids in the room that you don't know how to reach, but they still have to interact with people on some level, no matter how much of an introvert you are. So group activities where they're going to be interacting with folks, and you probably want to, if you can, kind of meter who they sit with and temper the kind of walk around, pay attention to the groups, but and the interaction. But group assignments work for those skills. School-wide, encourage them or work your activities so that at some point you'll have to interact with the school, different grade levels, different types of students, the faculty, the staff. At some point, kind of work them, have them come in to speak to your kids, or have your kids go out to speak to them at some level, right? And then you have the interpersonal assignments when they're at home, like a homework learning assignment. Ask grandma what it was like when she was, living during the time of the war, or ask a neighbor to, help you with this assignment, and they have to sign off at the bottom. Now, you have to be careful because where kids live and all these different things, but if they interact with someone on a different level, not just in your 4 walls of a classroom, then they will start learning their people skills, because when they get on that job and when they get to college, they're going to be interacting with different types of people, and they need to know how to survive and navigate that new experience. I failed the first test because I wasn't studying. I failed the first test because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't I wasn't able to do what coach asked me to do because I wasn't practicing. These are self-managing thoughts that should be happening. So they start functioning, they start changing this idea. Instead of us being, okay, here's what you do. Remember when I said such and this is the 40th time I'm saying it. I'm going to keep saying it to help you. No, at some point, put your foot down. Tell them, okay, I've explained this how many times. It's either you go find a partner, ask somebody else. One of my, and I don't know where she got it from. Maybe it's a thing and I'm just late to the party. But she always tells them to ask 2 before me or 3 before me or something like that. I will tell you as a class a lot of times, and then at some point you have to figure it out. Either go make a friend, or you pay attention the next time, because I'm not going to keep repeating myself. All right. So they have to start thinking, if I did such and it didn't work, then later I need to do something else. All right. I'm managing myself. Leadership skills. Number 4. This is a soft skill that kids need to learn, no matter if they're going into prominent or active leadership, but they're going to be leading their lives and they're going to be leading households, so they need to know these skills anyway. Group activities, they're good for that. Now you can assign the different positions in the groups, or you'll have them, you start figuring out, okay, whenever they get into groups of 4, then Janie stands out. She keeps organizing the group. She keeps telling people what to do. So, you know, she's developing these leadership skills. All right. Organizational tasks does that as well. It makes you a leader because you're more organized, and people start seeing that you carry yourself differently, or you can do stuff that other kids can't. And because you've been taught the communication skill of speaking out and handling situations a little bit differently, you know, your leadership skills are developing, and interpersonal skills. Talking to people, being able to talk to different types of people, being able to have a conversation without blowing up every 2 seconds because you don't like what somebody has said. All right, so these are leadership skills, and these are ways to teach them. Give activities where they interact. Give activities where they have to share out. Give activities where you ask questions and they have to respond, and everyone gets a chance. Because if you just throw questions out at the whole class, you're going to have the same 5 kids responding. All right, so target those who need to, because everyone needs this skill. Number 5, productivity and time management. These are soft skills that, you know, I've kind of hinted at already, but they need it. So give time frames, give deadlines. Some people, you know, you give an assignment in the beginning of the year, beginning of the grading period, and you're still taking it like the end of the grading period. Unless that child was in the hospital or something major happened, don't take it. Don't take it. They need to know time frame. Give them timelines, give them deadlines. You need to turn this in as a group by whatever date I give you, or you need to turn this in individually by whatever date I give you, because it forces them to think that the world is not going to be so easy coming and going. At some point you're going to need a deadline. If you're catching the bus, you're going to have to be there at that time, not on your time, because you'll never get the right bus. You'll never get the bus. You have to get to work on time. You have to get to class on time. These are skills that they need to learn. So give them deadlines. Group activities kind of helps with that too. You have a huge project that's due by October 16. Well, you know what? The group has to meet on their own. You have to if I give you class time to do it, then you know you have 30 minutes to figure out what each person is doing. You have 30 minutes to figure out how you're going to do your part and send it to everybody else so they can peruse it and send it to the teacher by the 16th. All right? Deadlines, timelines, time frames, they work. And organizational tasks, again, I tell you about my huge binder that I give. When I do the binder checks, you know you have a week to turn it in. Though after that week, it's done. I'm moving on. You should do the same. Maybe we'll get you on the next time, but I can't keep extending things for you because you'll never learn to organize yourself. You'll never learn to be productive. You'll never learn your time management soft skill. Number 6, creative problem solving. Provide critical thinking opportunities. Now, one thing that I'm very big on, and I love doing it, is teacher think alouds. I just walk around the class, or I just pose random questions, and obviously I know the answer, but I have them think about it, and then I ask specific students. Or if I know that the class is struggling in a certain area, I kind of throw it out to everyone, but for the most part, particular students are targeted because I want them to develop that critical thinking skill. So I'd give assignments where they'd have to, figure stuff out. And math classes are good for this, and science classes. But English, we can do that too. You pose questions that are nuanced. They're not specifically on an exam, but I wonder what she was thinking though. Why would she do that? And then you'll have them coming up with the different answers, even though it's not something that's on a test. Because you know what? It is characterization, and it still has you figure people out. It still has you thinking critically. Another creative problem solving skill, way to teach it rather, is group assignments again. These work. So you can just limit the amount of exposure to the situation, that the instructions rather, that they need. You give them minimal instructions. They can go anywhere with it, and then you see that creativity blossom. You'll see them working in groups. You'll see them trying to figure it out. Now, some people will get flustered, so you can either change the group, or you have them, you know what, you're in the group. We only have about 16 people in this class. You need to figure it out. I can't move you around. One group is going to have more kids, and one group is going to have less if you leave them. So you know what, you guys as a group, figure it out. I need you to be creatively problem solving. Figure it out as a group. It's a soft skill you need, guys. Now, number 7 is a little bit, weird, but it's called career management. Obviously, they're students. They don't have a career yet, but I would beg to differ that being a student is your career right now. All right. So we need to manage that. Organizational tasks. If you don't have a binder for them, make sure they organize their class folders. Make sure they organize their online folders. Make sure they have some form of organizational skill, because once again, we can't leave it up to the household all the time. Some parents don't have the time to sit and teach. By the same token, I'll say parents, when you go shopping, don't commandeer the whole experience. Let the child know that, okay, we're going to need this item, that item, that item. Where would we find them all? You go get such and such, I'll go get this. Or as we're going down the aisle, I need you to find these things. I need a particular brand. I need you to hold the calculator. You're calculating for me. What route do I take? These are skills that kids need to know. Career management, if you know that you're going, and that's why, schools have a plan of for each kid. They have the courses that they've taken, the course analysis, because you need to start evaluating where you are. You failed Algebra 2, and you need it to be the fireman. You need it for graduation. So here's what we're going to do. This is already starting your career management. And in the classroom, you can do the same thing. You have their binders. You have, okay, once again, by the end of November, we're going to be reading our first novel. So you know what? You need to start getting it. All right. By the end of November, we're going to be starting chapter 5. So you need to read 1 through 4, and we're going to be giving you guided questions. We're going to be working with you, but by that time, we're going to be done. So you need to navigate the time you have outside of the room and the space and time you have in the room. So these are things that you can look at to teach soft skills. There are many more, but I'm only giving you these 7 right now, because we need to start making sure that our kids are ready for the real world when they step out into it. All right. Thanks for coming to class today. Don't forget to go out and be great. Hey, let's just go out there and teach.